Alright, so just checking if we're recording. Yeah, we're recording. So I have got a UCM6202 which I want to connect to a GXW4216 to give me an additional 16 FXS ports, which are analog extensions, and I want to convert them back to the UCM for SIP integration. I will log on to the IP address that I've got from the UCM, which I've plugged into my router, and DHCP was given. My IP address is 192.168.1.69, and my port is 8089, which is the default port on the UCM. You will open up that. Username is admin. Password you will find at the back of your UCM. And you log on. You will enter the old password, which is at the back of your UCM. And enter your new password. Over here, the next setting, we've got route here. The route is meaning that you've got the WAN port, which goes to your router, and the LAN, which will go to your network of telephones. If you want to set up two different IP ranges, then this is the way to do it, because your WAN will have your DHCP coming from your router, and your LAN, it's default set up this range, which will be its own network. We can make this a switch, which will just basically take away the WAN and have LAN. We also suggest you make that static so that the IP address stays in its IP for all time. Change the subnet. Your gateway would be the gateway that it's going to break out to, and your DNS, which is my router and gateway. Click on next. Select the disable extension range. Can only set SIP extensions. We don't want to disable it. Start extensions. How many do we want to create? In this scenario, we've got 2 FXS ports on our UCM, and we've got 16 FXS ports on our the GX4216, and then we've got a GXP2160 as the main reception phone. So that's giving us 16, 17, 18, 19 extensions. We'll put in 19 there, just the random password. You can create your own, but we'll just keep it at that. Here we're going to add the trunks. This is going to be SIP. So we're going to add the SIP trunk over there and all the information that we're going to receive from our provider. Trunk name, so we just make that SIP, and we find all those details and we do that. I'm going to just cancel that and skip. And then this will be the summary of everything there, and save. While it's busy configuring all of that, some of the configuration requires system reboot. So what I'm going to do is, before we do that, I'm going to plug in my phone, so that I at least will get this one on the network. So I'm going to plug this into my LAN port, and then plug my GXW gateway also into the network. So at the back you've got one LAN port over here, and you plug it into the network. And then you can just say OK, because we're going to do a reboot. The UCM is now restarting, and you will see you have a little screen in front there that will tell you the IP address once it all comes up of your Grandstream GXW4216. So we're just waiting for it all to come up. This is dashboard, gives you all the information of your UCM. We'll go through that in another video. Still waiting for it to start up. Okay, so now we've got, let's minimize that. That should be back up now. Oh, so it was on 69, but because we changed it to static, it is now 230. Enter. Click advanced because of certificates, and you can put in the default one and the new password that you have entered. Click on login. Okay, so there is that. Go to dashboard system, active calls, network status, extensions. We're going to an extension. So because we've added the 19 extensions, there's all of our extensions, and they're also unavailable and all of that. The rest of the information there. What we'll do is we'll move directly down to value added features, go to 0 config. Over here you should have the IP address of your GXP216, which we do, and then we should also have the GXW4216 as well. And the reason why it's not showing up there is because of the fact that that is an IP range of 2.100 and my range over here is 1. So I'm going to quickly fix that and get that. Right, we're back. Okay, so restarted the IP phone and I've got that IP address over there, which is great, which is what we want underneath 0 config. But we still do not have the GXW4216, which should also automatically come up here because it's in the same IP range. So if I plugged it directly into the UCM, I did pick it up automatically, but because it's on my router, I'm not too sure why. So we are just going to create a new device, go down there, and we will find the GXW42. We will put in the MAC address. The MAC address is at the back. (000) B to E 71 F 9 E. IP address. Why is that still red? 000 B 8. See, it was still red, so now it's blue. We're good. 82E71 F9E. The IP address, which you will find in front on the screen, I've got it as 192.168.1.67. Version we don't know. Oh, version 4 v2.3. So we've saved that. and there it is up there. So we automatically put it in now, but usually you can just upload it. Okay, so now that's its own IP address, and that's all set up there. You can go and edit that, and you can make all these profiles. So profile 1, I'm going to use the UCM, and all these are going to be its extensions. And then select each extension, because each port on the FX on this unit is its own extension number. Don't know if there's an easier way to do this. I know that we're going to log on to the unit now and link it all up as well. Save that, and then we press this little cloud over here and update, so that everything gets updated to the rest of the system. So there's our, if we click on extensions, there's idle, that's our main reception phone, 1000. We've got our, this is a SIP terminal because it's a voice over IP unit that we are going to convert from IP into analog. That's why we're getting our analog extension. So that's there. So each one, if we open it up, has got a password. So we've got our extension number, we've got our password, which now it needs to register with the unit, the GXW4216. So if we go and we enter 192.168.1.67, which is the IP of my unit, the GXW4216, password default is admin, and log on. Okay, of course, both UCMs, I haven't gone in. You need to update the firmwares to the latest versions. I'm not going to do it in this video. That's for another video. So this will just give you all your details, your network status. It tells you there's your IP address, and it's set at DHCP. You can make it static so that the IP address never changes, which is always a good idea. And the port status, you see it says there it's not registered because this is a SIP registration. So SIP registration happens from the GXW4216 through to the UCM. And that's where we need to get the registration, because an analog extension, which is my analog extension basic telephone, will plug into the ports in the front here. And this unit converts those analog signals into IP signals, which will go out through the router. Right, so we can go through all these settings, advanced profiles. We can click on that because we're only using profile 1. Our SIP server is, this is, I've already entered it in, but we will 192.168.1.230 because our gateway is going to be using the UCM to dial out via the router. Primary outbound is that IP as well, exactly the same. Save and apply that. Network settings, this you can go through as well, whatever settings you want to change according to your requirements. I'm just setting a basic one up, so I just need to make sure that my extensions can see my server so that I can dial over my SIP lines that I will have. FXS ports. Right, now here is your 1 to 16 ports. FX port number 1, which is port number 1, is the SIP user ID, authenticate ID, your password, and your name. Right. Number 1, we'll go back to the UCM and the extension list. We're going to click on extension number 1, open it up there, get that password, copy it. The extension is 1001, so we'll go over here. The user ID is 1001, authenticate ID 1001. The password is that password that we just copied over there. Put it in there, and we can just make it 1001 as well. We're going to be using profile 1 because we've just set up profile 1 over there to use the UCM as our proxy to dial out. Right, and you will do this now for each and every single one right through. If you want to do the second one, you'll go back up here. We'll click on the second one, which is 1001. Oh, sorry. We will click on 1002. Get that password over there. Copy it. Go over there. 1002. 1002. Paste that password. 1002. And we're using profile 1. And so you go and you do all 16 extensions. Save and apply. So now this unit, these ports, should register with your UCM, which is over here. So if we click on those, and there we have it there. So there's your idle, and it's using those SIP ports through that IP address. So if I plug my analog device that I've got over here directly into port number 1, I'll pick up, I'll get dial tone, and I'm going to dial 1000 because my 1000 is my GXP4116. And there you will see it there. So I'm phoning from my analog device, which is this one, and it's ringing over there, and I will answer it. Test, test. And there we have two-way communications. Hello? Alright. And that's it. And so now you will do it for the rest so that all of these become available. We did, however, what we need to do as well is we need to, the 2 FXS ports on the UCM, we need to just add them as FXX ports so we can use them. We save that. We're going to add another one, FXS, save that as well. So then we can use those 2. So we're completely, which will be those 2 at the bottom there. So in actual fact, these 2 we are going to have to delete because we're not going to use those SIP because we've got 16 SIP from our GXW4216. We've got 2 analog extensions from our UCM6202 unit, and then we've got the 1 IP extension, which is our main reception. And that's it. Thank you for watching Communication Specialist video.